Hey guys, so we're going to continue to talk about percents for a little while. We talked about converting percents to decimals and decimals to percents and finding the percent of a number and finding out what percent one number was of another number. The only thing we haven't really done is determining, for example, 10 is 30% of what number. It's the only thing we haven't really discussed. Now, back when we started percents, I taught you about is over of equals percent over 100. As I said before, this is most likely the most important thing you will ever use as far as percents goes because it always works. Let's look at a few examples of how it works with stuff we've done before. Come on. One problem that we did was find 5% of 20. And all we did was we changed 5% into 0.05 and we multiplied by 20. But if you use is over of, you would notice that find 5%, so the percent goes on top over here. The 100 never changes. On this side we have is over of. Well, there is no is, but it does say of 20. So the 20 goes down here, and the is what you're looking for. So you put an X where the is goes. Now, whenever you have two fractions that are equal, you can, where are my colors? You can cross multiply these two numbers together and these two numbers together to set up an equation. I know we haven't really done equations yet, but you guys are all pretty smart. So x times 100 is 100x, and 20 times 5 is 100. So if 100x equals 100, x equals 1, and find 5% of 20, your answer would be 1. Now another thing that we did was we talked about 10 out of 15 is what percent? Hold on, my dog's barking. Okay. So this time it doesn't say is over of, but it says what percent. So you know that the percent is what you're looking for. And you notice that this is already set up as a fraction. So it's simply 10 over 15 equals x over 100. And then when you cross multiply, you get 1000 equals 15x. And in order to find what x is here, you divide both sides by 15. Now again, we haven't really talked about equations yet, but all we're asking you to do is divide by the number in front of the x. So we'll talk about equations more as the year goes on. But anyway, 1000 divided by 15, I don't have a calculator on me right now. Oh yeah, I do. That would be 66 2/3, or 66.7%. Okay, so now what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to say 150 is 25% of what number? So 150 is, well, that's the is, so that's going to go on top. And the 100 never changes. 25%, well, that goes where the percent is. Of what number? So that means my x is here. So now we cross multiply, so we get 25x, and again, you'd go like this. 25 times x is 25x. 150 times 100 is 1, 5 with 3 zeros, 15,000. And now we divide by 25. And x equals 600. Okay, let's try another one. 50 is 20% of what number? So again, 50 is, so that goes on top. 20% goes where the percent is. The 100 never changes, and the of is your x. Cross multiply. Divide by 20. And x equals 250. Okay, so that's just an example of how to find using is over of equals percent over 100. I'm going to give you a worksheet with different problems, not just the x being here, but also the x being here or the x being here. Remember, this number will always be 100 in this equation. This is this isn't working so good. So basically, just remember is over of equals percent over 100. All right, now the other thing we have to talk about is sales tax. When you go into a store and buy something, when you go to check out, you have to pay sales tax on most things. We're not going to get into what is taxed and what isn't and what the tax rate is. Tax rates are usually between 5 and 7% for sales tax. So let's say you buy something for, whoa, hey. Let's say you buy something for $125 plus 6% tax. Basically what you have to do is find 6% of 125 and add that onto your total. So we would do 0.06 times 125, and that is $7.50. So your final total would be $125 plus $7.50 for a total of $132.50. Okay, that's sales tax is really that basic. There is actually a trick that I'm going to show you that you might want to show your parents because it's actually pretty cool. So this is a lot of steps to find sales tax. You have to do change this to a decimal, multiply by that number, and then add them together. So it's like a 3-step problem. But what you can do, I was hoping I could just erase that, but I can't. So what you can do is say, let's say your bill is $53 at 6.5% sales tax. Normally what we would do is move the decimal point over and multiply by 0.065 times $53. But the trick is, in order to save the step of adding your answer on, well, let's do it so we can see what the actual answer is. So that would be $3.45. So you would add that and you would get 8, 9, what am I doing? That's not right. $56.45. What I'm saying is you can multiply 53 times 1.065 and that will give you this answer. It saves you the step of having to add on the 53 because mathematically what it does is it multiplies the 53 by the 1, so it adds it for you. It's just a little shortcut. But hopefully you can watch these notes a couple times and understand how to do the problems in class today. And I will see you on Wednesday.